Welcome to Burned and Better. I'm your host, Dr. Denisa Weber, a seven-figure CEO, speaker, mother, entrepreneur, and chiropractor. Over the last 15 years, I've faced the highest highs and the lowest lows of entrepreneurship, motherhood, and leadership. I've burned more times than I can count, but every time I've found a way through and come out better. This isn't about polished highlight reels. It's about the real, unfiltered side of leading, the kind of conversations usually kept behind closed doors. Here, I share my own stories and sit down with leaders who've stumbled, recalibrated, and built something worth leading. So if you've ever felt the weight of success or wonder what it looks like to fall hard but rise stronger, you're in the right place. Let's normalize the messy middle of leadership and step into the episode. Okay, welcome back, guys. I am pumped for this conversation. I get to have a good friend of mine, Dr. Lauryn Brunclik, on.
You're the only person who's ever pronounced my name correctly in my introduction.
Girl, I have butchered your name on several occasions. I even said it a million times before I came on today because I was like, will not mess up her name. I keep wanting to say it.
You said it perfect.
Well, let's go.
Let's go. Nailed it.
I'm going to start with a win, man. Okay. All right. Dr. Lauryn Brunclik is an entrepreneur, chiropractor, business coach, podcast host, wife, mother, and sought after speaker, known for her high energy and straightforward attitude and ability to make people laugh while discovering their truths. In 2010, she founded Blue Hills Chiropractic, building it to a thriving seven-figure practice. But after years of relentless hustle, she found herself overworked, tied to her clinic, and craving more freedom. Determined to create a business that worked for her, not the other way around, Lauryn built multiple revenue streams, streamlined her operations, and reclaimed her time without sacrificing income. She took that passion and launched She Slays the Day, a podcast helping professionals and clinic owners break free from burnout by creating multiple revenue streams, reclaiming time, and building financial and lifetime freedom. Okay, she also has a social media bootcamp coming up, so we'll talk about that later. But if you are not already following She Slays the Day, you need to. So find her on social, or find her on Spotify or any other places that you can listen to these podcasts. So without further ado, welcome, friend.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So when I reached out to Lauryn about sharing, there's many places we could go with this. This is
so many. Too many. It was hard to figure out which one.
Yeah. And me and Lauryn, we also know each other from back in the day. I feel like we've got to witness each other's evolutions through business, practice, motherhood. We've been able to see kind of an arc as we go along. But it's been awesome because in a mastermind, I got to witness her create her signature course and come up with how she wanted to, where she's wanting to take that. She's been able to help other people with their personal brands. And so I'm pumped to have her on, but she's been in practice the same amount of time I've been. Mm-hmm. And so that means we've got lots of backstock of stories,
so
right?
Many stories, so many.
So how would you like to kick us off? Because I think a little bit about what we were talking about earlier was how ego can kind of drive leadership and where that shows up. And it shows up differently for everyone. So how would you say that showed up for you?
Well, so we're both Enneagram 3s, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a very interesting week because literally yesterday I had a virtual coffee chat with an old friend where we had kind of decided to put a big pin / pause in the friendship about 3 years ago, maybe even 4. And, it was just kind of, it didn't end in a good way. It ended in we're both done, long-term friend. And so the world has a way of just kind of time passing. Mm-hmm. And so I reached out and I said hey, I've done a lot of therapy. You've done a lot of therapy. You want to do coffee chat? And so yesterday we were talking and we were kind of unpacking what happened. And she said honestly, I was just sick of being in the Lauryn show. And I was like, you know what? I can't even freaking. And she said it so kindly. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But my response was just how familiar are you with the Enneagram? Because I think she was very nervous to be like, it was just all about you. And it didn't seem like as a friend, I served you getting ahead in life. And so therefore I wasn't important. And I was like, oh yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like that is Enneagram 3. We are social climbers when we are in our shadow self. And so like, that's how it showed up in clinic. That's how it showed up when I started coaching, is just like the Lauryn show. And so, that's a good probably place to start. Of like Enneagram 3s, we like being the center of things. And then, that really is not a great place for a leader. The leader is not supposed to be the center.
Yeah. That's very honest. That was a very honest answer from her.
Well, I mean, that's where I told you yesterday, where I was like, I can't think of something, but I know there's a gazillion. Like,
oh my God,
up on the daily. Like, what do you want?
Yeah. I even sent you prompts. I'm like, hey, like these are some things that, like, I mean, Lauryn, tell everyone what you just told me before we started recording. Was like you're like, I just move on.
So yes, that is part of like, one of my superpowers is that I take action very, very quickly. I'm not super afraid to make mistakes. I really don't have a perfectionist mindset. And I like just bumping up against walls, failing quickly, and then like learning from it and moving forward.
Yeah.
And so my brain just stores things in a way that allows me to sleep very well at night. But it's just like, I know I am such a different leader through therapy. I'm a different friend. I'm a different spouse. I'm a different Christian. I'm a different mother. And like, if I'm also a verbal processor. So good luck us doing this in less than a half hour. And so like, if somebody asks like, well, why do you do that way? I'd be like, I don't know. And like about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in, I'd be like, oh, I remember why. So here's the deal. I'm just a storyteller, but it just takes a minute to find the story.
Yeah. No, I can totally tell you're a verbal processor, which is fun. It makes for good convo when we get together. So
coming from the person who sends 7-minute voice memos.
I do the same thing because it's just thinking out loud. And as I said, even starting this podcast, like guys, I was referring back to Lauryn when I said that I was listening to, or I would be at conferences and she was presenting on how to launch a podcast or how to, whatever, something, expand your personal brand by having a podcast or a successful launch or whatever. And I was like scrolling through my phone. I was like, I'm never going to do that. So it doesn't really matter. So I was just like, like Lauryn's doing her thing. Take a couple pictures of her doing her thing. Send it to her. Like, I was like, I'll be your hype girl. And then turns out I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to launch a podcast. I should have listened to Lauryn when she was presenting. all the things. Okay. So when you were talking about your ego, kind of, you were saying the Lauryn show or what have you. So what did that look like leading a team? Like what did your associates pick up on that? Did your CAs pick up on that? Did team members express any of that? What did it look like?
So team members didn't necessarily express that, but I think when you're a leader, that it's very clear, because I'm a really good delegator, meaning like almost to a flaw, where it's like, I need you to do this for me. And like at the whole premise of work, I guess, is that. But we're talking about like, there's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. Being a boss is saying, I'm giving you money. This is what I need you to do.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that is really where I struggled for a lot of time. I still struggle of like, I've told you what I've needed you to do. This is the job. You've applied to the job. It was in the application. And like, I don't understand. But really being a leader is being able to pour into them. And I'm like, I don't want to pour into you. You're supposed to pour into me. I'm paying you. And so like, I think I've had so many podcast episodes, people talking about leadership and how like repetitive all this. And I was like, God, I'm not a leader. I'm a boss. Like, and there's a reason that people hate their boss.
Yes.
And so I think that continues to morph. I will not say that I have nailed that, because I'm always kind of just like starting a new thing and then kind of leaving the other thing of like, good, you're good now, right? Right. You know what you should do? Like, I just started a new doc. He started 2 months ago. And I'm like, okay, cool, you're good, right? Because like I have shit I need to be doing. And so that's a continuing learning of like, I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
I have stuff that needs
Yeah.
to happen.
Yep.
Can you just handle your shit? And like,
Mm-hmm.
can you just do as you've been hired to do? And again,
Mm-hmm.
that's just like far from exceptional leadership.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one because I mean there's so many I mean when you start out you're just like I'm just trying to be good at what I do, right? And then
Mhm.
you have people you're like I need people to help me do what I do. You end up hiring, then you're their boss, and then you learn how to be a boss, like you learn how to delegate, and then that transition from boss to leader. I mean, did you find that that was something that, I mean, it was like a mental switch in your head? How long would you say it took for you to realize that? How many years in having a team?
Well, let's see, it's 2025. So
Oh
like 4 months ago. Like
my gosh,
I
stop.
mean, no, you can learn something
Yeah,
and then
executing it.
yeah, like absolutely executing it on the week by week,
Mhm.
showing up. Like another thing that a lot of entrepreneurs, CEO type people will say is, I just don't like small talk. I just don't like small talk. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's right. And so it's like, but realizing that like, but what does your team need? And so when you show up on Monday, like I am the type of person,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you're, where it's like, I've been working pretty much from the moment I woke up. Like, I've been working for the last 2 hours. I'm
Oh,
coming
yeah.
into the clinic mid working. Like, I'm already working. And
Mhm.
they're like, so how was your weekend? And this and that. And I just like, mine was good. Okay, so let's look at the show. And it's like, oh, it was her daughter's graduation. Like,
Mhm. Oh, so true.
like
So true.
the
Yes.
empathy is a big part that's missing
Yeah.
when you are being a boss and viewing your employees as little people, not little people, like people that are there to do a task for you.
Yep.
Like there's
Mhm.
not like treating them like humans. You're treating them
Mhm.
like machines
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And so, remembering things like, hey, how did you were really concerned about talking to your husband about that thing? How did that go? And
Mhm.
like just having
Mhm.
time in work to talk to them, because even some people will hear like, pour into them. Oh, I'm great. I'm great. Don't worry. We do trainings weekly and we like review scripts. And it's like, I'm not good at that either. But like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
at least is, I'm making you a better workhorse for me. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's that like holding space for like, what do you need in life? Now, there have been times where I've held way too much freaking space
Yeah.
and did not realize that like this person is an empty, endless vessel of needing from me, and that
Mhm.
that just wasn't right. And so like, because it can go the other way, is as you're trying to learn, like, I'm gonna be more empathetic, that can show up of like endless like just being afraid to fire someone because you're worried about being nice.
Yeah.
And so like
Yeah.
there's all these words of like leaders are empathetic, and what does that mean? Well, and then a lot of people hide behind like, I just don't want to hurt their feelings. So like you don't have kind, candid conversations, and so like there's just so many ditches in these soft leadership skills where you're like, oh, I'm super empathetic. Yeah, but now you swung the other way.
Yeah.
And
It's such a yes.
now
Totally.
you're not showing up like a boss needs to
Mhm.
be and giving the employee a performance improvement plan and firing them when it's not right for either of you.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a lot in there. But when you talk about going from, yes, like you're steamrolling, you're coming in hot, and you're like, all right, did
Mhm.
you all do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And it's like, I don't think I know anything about anyone in here.
Mhm.
I don't think everyone knows everything about
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows
but
everything about me, but I'm like, what grade is her kid going
do I
into?
know? Like, do I know how that her son's birthday party went last weekend? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy, and maybe that you can, you can relate to this, is that what's
God, the
crazy
show
is,
really makes you feel like shit about yourself, by the way.
yes, stop it.
This
No,
is why
no,
I
I
don't
think,
talk about this stuff. I'm like, God,
no, I
am I
think,
better or am I still doing this? I'm like, huh.
oh, oh, and I think like
huh.
that's why we need these conversations, is because as long as you are in charge of something, as long as you are having people come behind you in vision and trying to execute that vision out and having a team, it's always messy. Like, it's
Mhm.
everyone's imperfect. We're imperfectly leading or bossing or whatever we want to call it. But like, I mean, it's like but good leaders are constantly having some sort of
Yeah.
self-evaluation. Like, I mean, if you don't have that self-evaluation and self-awareness, this is definitely not the podcast that they're ever going to come across. But like, you're constantly trying to evolve to be better at what you're doing. Like, but we're
Yeah.
all guilty of going through these seasons where it's like, hopefully, like listening to this, it's like, hopefully I can catch myself in real time doing it. Like, it's like, hey, last week I did not do a good job of checking in on my team. Like, that could be better. Like,
hmm
you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
because you're the energy of the clinic. And like I hate comparing like, me to being mom and them to being my kids or things like that, but like they want time with you. They want to feel seen. They want to like know, even just telling them like you're doing a good job. Like that's kind of wrapped up in this like viewing employees as machines
Yeah.
of like, cool, you did your job. Of like, good.
Great.
I have no comments. And it's like, oh no, oh, you did great. I'm really proud of
Mm.
you for this. And so it's like, I would never do that to my kids, but my kids aren't my employees. I mean, actually, sorry, according to the IRS there. Of course, my kids are my employees, but
Totally. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You will do that. Good
just
catch.
kidding. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Totally.
Good catch. Good catch. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm sure you pride your practice and yourselves with your team with being intentional with your practice members. You
Mhm.
remember things about them. You remember like their birthdays. You remember, like, that's what kind of separates your practice maybe from other people, is that you remember their stories. And then yet the disconnect can be because people are on mission with you. They get to see the back end of the biz, which is, this is what it takes to create this and move this forward. But I'm forgetting to be intentional or
Mhm.
loving or like knowing things and caring and seeing that as like, that's also a reflection of how good this practice is doing as well. So,
Well, and I said I would never do it to my kids, but like as I'm sitting here thinking like that intentionality, this is something that so many of us like female owners, I think, really struggle with. Like being in the business is very masculine, right? It's like, and so we can quickly lose the soft skills as we are trying to be like the boss slash leader that we think we're supposed to be. And so you got to fix it at the office. But then also when you're coming home, just not showing up in your feminine for your
mhm.
spouse is another major misstep. I mean, that was a
Mm,
big thing during that entire time where it was the Lauryn show and I lost this, friend and I had a ton of employees who kind of just turned over from burnout, air quotes there.
yeah. Yeah.
Kirby and I were also going to marriage counseling and he never once said it's the Lauryn show, but he definitely said like I don't feel important in what she wants to accomplish in life. Like our marriage
Mm,
isn't important in all of her goals and things like that.
mm,
And so it is like just steamrolling. I was reading something by Richard Rohr this morning, and he said that like your gift is going to be your shadow flaw, and your shadow flaw is going to be your gift. And so I think one of the
mm,
things for me is I'm an activator. Not everybody walks into a room and has a fire and has an energy. Like I am that person, and I can create something out of nothing. Now, if I choose to spend all of my energy focused on what I can create this, and who's going to help me create this? And I want more and more and more and more and more. And I need all these people to create all these ideas that I have.
mhm,
But part of like when I was, just sitting and reflecting this morning on things and like who am I, God? Like, just who am I? What is, because I know he doesn't care about my courses. I know he doesn't care how much money I make this year or next year. He doesn't care about my clinic success. And so it's like,
Yes, he does. Don't do
you
that.
think so?
Yes,
You
he
think
does.
he cares if we do 1.7 versus 1.4?
I think he cares. I think he cares about all the little meticulous things that you care about.
Oh, all right. Let's talk about that later because I love
Yeah.
that. I love that idea of thinking that he's like, girl, get it. No,
Yes.
so I think that my ability to activate and create out of nowhere, I can activate others. Not to work for me. Like, yes, I've nailed that. But like
Yeah.
I can activate them to
Mm-hmm.
work for them, to help find like what is their purpose and mission and help wake them the fuck up. Sorry. You
Mm-hmm.
probably are not an explicit podcast yet.
I knew you would change that.
Joel, bleep it out, Joel. He's like, never have her on again. She's a pain.
Oh my gosh.
After like
Stop.
275 episodes, we had a consultant who was like working on the podcast, and she goes, you need to become listed as explicit. I was like, what? No, where? And she's like, you swear too much, too often. Like, I was like, dang. So she says today is an explicit podcast.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
funny. I
but
didn't know
anyway,
that
so like,
you met the
yes,
quota.
I have this ability to activate, but am I going to keep it all about me? Or can I learn? Okay. And so that
Channel it.
kind of comes with this of like, all right, you have this skill, but like, let's turn it towards the people in your life and help them create, not just have them be little machines helping you create your life, but like, how can you help them create their abundant life? And it's just, I'm selfish. I guess that's just really what it comes down to is like, it's very, and that's the big thing. That's ego, that's selfishness, that's like overcoming that on a daily basis. It's like,
And when you, when you turn
but
that,
it's
start turning it towards the others, like that's when what you're saying is like your shadow becomes your gift. Like, so now you're getting to pour that into activating other people, which is.
Yeah, we'll try it next week. We'll see how it goes.
No, I want to circle back to that God doesn't care about that. I was just hearing you say that. I was like, no, like he cares about all those meticulous things because then if he doesn't care, then who gets the glory?
Well, I would.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. Okay, I see where you're going there.
Exactly. And so that's where I'm like, if he cared, like if you care, like this is something where he can say, Lauren, I can come alongside you on this. Like if you're like, I can help you help other people with your giftings that I purposed you for. So if I'm working alongside you with you because you're in a branch and I am the vine, then I can help you bear fruit because you can't bear fruit without me. So you being in the vine allows you to bear fruit. And that fruit, you go, I couldn't have done this without him. Like that happened not because of my own efforts, and it came out of my own weaknesses, which means that it was his strength that did that inside me. And so that ends up reflecting back and giving him glory. So I think
that's so good.
He cares about all that meticulous stuff. Don't do that. Like so that way he can show up in the details for you. So my little sidebar on
just not all right, God, show up in the bank account too. I love him in all the details. I just, well, we have such mixed messaging in Christianity about money. And so I think that I think that's where it's hard, where it's like, well, I don't think God wants me to suffer, but like, I also don't know that he cares if I can afford a yacht or not.
I think that, it's all the Lord's. So if you're saying it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, no, it's not. Like, it's your perspective of
It's
the
the Lord show.
abundant. Yeah. It's your
letting God into that show too. And that is such a constant relationship struggle with God that it's like, because I'll be the first to be like, God, this is because of you. Thank you so much. Like when it's the blessings, but when it's the failures, then that was all me, God. Like, and it's like him showing up of like there in both the blessings and those failures, and knowing like, no, I'm there too. And it's like, no, this was my fault. And it's like, no, I'm there with you. Like that is
Yeah.
just such a constant reminder. But again, that brain just wants to go back to that ego focused area of like, it's about me. And it's like, well, if it is all about me, then like, you're right. I'll be the first to be like, this was me, the good stuff and the
Yeah.
bad stuff. But letting him into both it's a
Totally.
constant reminder.
Well, I mean, he cleans the things that he loves. Like he prunes, like a good gardener will prune, like in order to see things thrive. And so there's seasons of refinement and pruning that don't necessarily feel fantastic.
Oh, they always hurt so bad. I was talking to a 32-year-old in this mastermind I was at, and she's blessed to be like multi seven figures, but she's 32 and she's going through very normal, like early 30s shadow work. And I'm just like sitting here thinking like, oh, wow, I feel like in my 30s, like about 2 times a year, there would just be this working through like, there's always this surprise of like, you learn this dark side of you that you're like, I didn't even know this existed. How can I be 34 and not know that I'm an egomaniac? How can I be 36 and realize that I need to ask my employees how their weekend was? Like, how
Yeah.
can I be like
Yeah.
this? And you can really beat yourself up, but it's like, damn, I see why people are like, 40s are amazing.
You're like,
Like,
woo!
I'm 39 in a couple weeks, and I'm just like, I can't wait to be 40.
Come on over, baby. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good
But
stuff.
yeah, my heart just kind of like was excited, but just broke for her a little bit of like, oh, girl, you've got so much therapy and Bible work over your next 5 to 10 years. Like,
I think I don't know. I think that is ongoing. I don't
I
know.
think
But
people
yes,
need
I
to
do.
know that though, that
Yeah.
like there is like the
Yeah.
20s, you're just so focused on achieving. And then like the 30s are really where like things start to like slow down for a second, just enough to start to self-analyze. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm in college, I'm in chiropractic school, I'm starting a clinic, I'm having babies. And then like, it's just for most people, it's that like 30s where like everything just like the adrenaline of the next thing kind of stops. And then it just starts to like turn inward. And it's like, oh, this mirroring that like what I'm getting back in life is actually a reflection of who I am. Who am I? Oh my God. It's just, I think that if you are getting through life without knowing what we're talking about, you're likely not doing deep enough work because you don't get to grow without going through this work.
No,
You're signed up.
identity. Yeah. Like I feel like identity work is so, I mean, but especially when it came, like even like putting up a bio for different things, like that was so, I mean, like, how is that challenging? How is that challenging writing a new bio for when you're going like into a new chapter of your life? You're like, I'm kind of in this in between. Like, I'm not necessarily who I was, and then I'm not, like, I feel like when you run into things like that, you're like, this is something that should not be that hard. And
Yeah.
yet we are having a hard time writing a bio. What's going on? Like that could be an episode, Lauren. That could be a full on episode on identity, but that's in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, and like, the imposter syndrome never goes away. Like there's just these things that you're like, I really thought when I got to this point, I would feel this. I really thought when I got to this point, I wouldn't deal with this thing. Like, yeah, I think just knowing you're not alone. I think that is what's really important. And
Yeah.
that's why I love this podcast that you've created, because I think there are so many people who will, whether they know your guest or not, they'll hear the accolades and like I said, in this mastermind, I was in this group and these people are like 4 million, 5 million, $6 businesses. And they're talking about like not knowing how to set up KPIs. And I was like, seriously? Say what? Like, and then like, then you get humbled on something else. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we're all just doing this the best we can. This is the first time that we've done this, and we just give ourselves no grace. No grace.
Yeah. Learning as we go. You were like Tristan says, every day is a school day. Every day. I'm like, yep, every day is a school day. What are we going to learn today? And if you can just approach it like that.
And what's the test? What's the pop quiz? I didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So There's so much. I feel like we need to have more
Oh,
podcasts
don't
together.
worry. Podcasts are forever. I'll come back on episode 273 and like,
I know. I know.
don't
I
worry,
know.
they keep going and
No,
going.
when you were saying too, like just for a little perspective, because I know there are some people who do have or that are maybe currently just so in the thick of ego and numbers and stuff like that. Because we both gone through chapters where we've gone into places where people bolster up, who they are, and then, but also in the back end are like making it like that's the only thing that matters to their team. Like, and
Mhm.
like where we're saying like not being intentional about like what's going on with them, but yet we're wanting them to like produce so that we can go and say
So
that
we can go and
we
brag that our clinic is doing this and we're seeing this many people. Oh yeah, anybody who deals with ego stuff knows that like there are certain numbers that you are attached to,
Mhm.
and not because you've thought about them of what they do for you, it's what they do in rooms that you enter.
Yeah.
So if I walk into a room and I can claim I am high volume, I just know the way our profession is set up
Mhm.
that even the people who are like you only spend 2 minutes with someone is like, but they're still like, oh, how do you see 500 people? Like, it's,
Yeah, they were
you
asking
just
that in the
attach to
background.
that because you're
Yes.
so focused on these other people's opinions.
Right. Right. Do you also see that in the online space?
Yeah.
I know.
Oh
But I
my God.
want to ask anyway.
I
Like, there's
mean,
just different metrics. Like, it's just
they're
different metrics.
just different metric. You know what's interesting though is like in the online space, there's so much credit given. So okay, so like in the clinics, we'll boast like 7 figures, right? Like,
Mhm.
all right, we did 7 figures.
Yeah.
But there's not the follow-up question of
What's your
what was your
profit?
profit margin? Yeah.
There you
What'd you
go.
take home? And
Uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh.
like, oh, you're seeing 500 a week. What's your OVA? Because I can tell
Mhm.
you when we were seeing our most, we were like like close to 700 patients a week. I think our OVA was like $30. Like
Mm.
just, yeah. And so it was like, but
Mhm.
it didn't matter because nobody asked that question. I got to
No.
just talk about how we're seeing almost 700 a week.
Mhm.
And so in the
Yeah.
online space, it's follower count, right? It's like your subscribers.
Mhm.
But I have coached multiple healthcare practitioners who they grew quickly, 100, 200, 300,000 followers, and they have no idea how to monetize it. And their engagement sucks,
Mhm.
And so, like, even if they threw up a $5 t shirt, they would struggle to sell 10 of them. And
Mm.
so I think that's the equivalent in the online world. I had my first 5-figure brand deal,
Mhm.
and it was like like a big. It wasn't just 10,000. I think it was like $29,000 brand deal when I
Yeah.
had 1,500 followers.
It's
Like,
great.
and that's the thing that like is so like just trying to help people realize of like, okay, stop worrying about the wrong thing. So even like our
Yeah.
boot camp, I feel kind of like a hypocrite in this moment because our boot camp is grow your following. But
Yeah.
in it, I'm going to break down that like you don't need to go viral. Like
Yeah.
that's what everyone wants. I want to go viral. I want to have all these followers. And it's like, what do you actually want? Like,
Yeah.
you want to have impact in your like financial life? Do you want to actually be able to connect with these people and like change their life? Then
Yeah.
you can get a lot of followers, but your just focus needs to be on a very different strategy.
Yeah, and that's where I know that you were talking about with the boot camp. So I'm going to get a little picture here because I love you. But with the boot camp, I know you even in the description, it was saying it's like how not to do viral. Like viral is
Mhm.
not, and I know you've posted several times, like viral is not where it's at. Like you were
No.
like, that does not put me in front of the people that are going to purchase anything that I put out there, or like having some rando know your name. It's like,
I
thanks, but it's also screwing up your algorithm because
Mhm.
now you can't like now it's
Yeah.
not targeting
So
your audience, you
I
know?
will say the misinformation, having a lot of followers, like hundreds of thousand, will get you on stages or
Yeah.
on bigger podcasts if that's what you want.
Yeah.
So it won't necessarily monetize you.
Get you in
but
a room.
because everyone's interested, like you will, you might be able to speak at a social media summit because they're like, oh, she has 250,000 followers. She must know what she's doing or whatever like that. So it does give you street cred for sure.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a strategy behind it, like it really does not, it can stop right there, just like right there. So
yeah. So did you want to tell people a little bit more about what you're doing with the boot camp? Because that's coming up in a couple weeks.
Okay, so the boot camp is a bait and switch. No, just kidding. So it's called Grow Your Following.
You're so
okay?
funny. I can't.
Because I know that's what people are like, yeah, that'll fix all my problems if I just grow my following. And I am going to talk about how to help. Like a lot of people kind of like get to initial point and they can't break through that plateau. They're like, why did I'm at 2,500 followers. Why am I not growing? And so we are going to solve a lot of that in day 2. But day 1, we're really going to go into how to collect vetted followers. So according to Forbes, you only need 1,000 vetted followers to be wildly successful in monetizing your online personal brand. And so we're going to be walking. Yeah. And so we're going to walk through like, what is a vetted follower and how do you get them? A lot of, what do we do if you got a lot of followers and you're realizing you've kind of changed your niche and now all of a sudden these people are not that. And so we're just going to be helping kind of like clean house what you currently have, your current strategy, and then day 3, giving you this brand new strategy to add another 1,000 vetted followers within the next, 6 months.
I
mean, you can do it in 90 days if you want to post twice a day, but these are healthcare professionals, right? Like it's one of those things where like, that's everything that I do is like, I just tell people like, you cannot compare yourself to these 20-year-old millennials. Like you are a damn doctor. Okay. You are building a brand. You are doing a podcast as this like side gig. So like, do not compare yourself on that.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I may need to attend that little boot camp of yours.
Come,
going over.
I'd love to have you.
I love it.
I love trading on this stuff so much. I'm such a geek for it.
I can tell. Well, you do a really good job. And if you guys aren't following her, you need to. So can you, we'll leave your handle, your contact information, and also a link to sign up for the boot camp as well in the show notes. So guys, Lauryn's a great follow. You'll always laugh. And even her podcast is pretty amazing. So follow She Slays the Day. Anything else you want to tell people leaving?
No, I think I embarrassed myself plenty enough today. This is good. I mean...
Oh my gosh. The fact that you even say that this is painful to be like on and talk about, you were cracking me up because we talk about these things all the time when we're together. Like
like I said, I don't care that other people hear it.
Yeah.
Like it's just like sitting and going like, wow. Like I think we like to think about things as I solved that. Oh, that was something that started showing up for me in 2019, but it's 2025 and I've solved it. And so sitting and like really talking through the like lesson of, you're like, have I?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely better, but like, so I think that's, that's what's hard is going like, I don't ever want someone to be like, oh yeah, no, that was a thing in my past. And now I'm perfect.
Totally.
Like, this is an ongoing thing.
I'll leave with one question. What would you say building a team for an online brand versus like what you've learned from building in brick and mortar? Has it helped you with like hiring inside of an online brand, like hiring team, would you say?
I would say that no, having an online team has been really different than the brick and mortar space. If anything though, having my online brand has helped me realize how much more direction I could be giving to the brick and mortar space. It's also really helped with like profitability wise, like in the online brand, working with VAs and realizing how capable they are and going like, okay, I've got one of my star wooers who is spending 2 hours a day in the back doing stuff like, no, she needs to be out loving on patients. And like, so like, if anything, like realizing the VA aspect and like how that can help decrease payroll bloat and all of that has been more helpful.
Payroll bloat. I like that. I like that phrase right there. I've never heard that. I love it. Okay. Well, this is a great conversation. I'm glad we got to connect today. And there's no question we'll definitely be having Dr. Lauryn back on in the future. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
I love you so much, friend. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. I'm proud of you too. All right. Until next time, guys, I'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Burn It Better. Follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, tap 5 stars or write us a quick review. That's how this work is going to grow. I'd love to hear what stood out for you in this conversation. Share this episode, tag me at Southern_Chiro on Instagram, and pass it on to someone who needs it today.